The sky over Italy didn't just roar that day, it cracked. Hundreds of bombers carved through the clouds, and within hours a sacred place that had survived empires, plagues, and centuries of war was reduced to rubble. What you're about to hear isn't legend or exaggeration. It's real, it's filmed, and it's one of the most shocking moments of World War II ever captured on camera. Monte Cassino was not just another building. It was a historical heavyweight. Founded in the 6th century, the monastery stood as one of Europe's most important cultural and religious landmarks. For nearly 1400 years, it had been destroyed and rebuilt, attacked and restored, always rising again. It symbolized endurance, learning, and continuity in a continent often torn apart by war. But in World War II, Monte Cassino found itself trapped in the worst possible place, right in the middle of a critical defensive line blocking the Allied advance toward Rome. The mountain it sat on dominated the surrounding valleys. From a military perspective, it looked like the perfect observation post. And that's where everything went wrong. By early 1944, Allied forces were stalled. Progress was slow. Casualties were mounting. Every attempt to break through the German defensive positions was met with brutal resistance. Soldiers on the ground believed they were being watched, tracked, and targeted from above. The monastery loomed overhead. Rumours spread fast in war. Many Allied commanders became convinced that the monastery was being used as a military stronghold. That belief hardened into certainty, even though there was no solid proof. Reconnaissance reports were unclear. Some intelligence suggested enemy troops were nearby, not inside. But pressure does things to judgment. The decision was made. Monte Cassino would be bombed. On February 15, 1944, the skies opened. Wave after wave of Allied bombers dropped more than 1,400 tons of explosives onto the monastery. The bombardment was relentless. Stone walls that had stood for centuries collapsed in seconds. Towers folded in on themselves. Libraries, artworks, and priceless manuscripts vanished in clouds of dust and fire. And here's the twist that still haunts historians. At the time of the bombing, there were no German troops inside the monastery. Real footage shows the aftermath. Massive ruins, broken columns. A sacred site turned into a shattered skeleton of stone. Civilians who had taken shelter there were killed. History didn't just suffer damage, it was obliterated. This wasn't just a military strike, it was cultural destruction on an industrial scale. Ironically, the bombing achieved the opposite of what was intended. Once Monte Cassino was reduced to rubble, the ruins became ideal defensive cover. After the destruction, German forces moved into the shattered remains, using the broken stone as natural fortifications. The jagged debris created firing positions that were nearly impossible to dislodge. What had once been a peaceful monastery became one of the deadliest battlegrounds of World War II. The fighting that followed was savage. Multiple Allied assaults failed. Soldiers advanced uphill under fire through mud, rain, and constant artillery. Entire units were wiped out. The ruins became a killing ground, captured in stark black and white footage that still hits hard today. Monte Cassino wasn't just about stone and strategy, it was about people. Thousands of soldiers from multiple nations fought and died there. The terrain was unforgiving, the weather was brutal, the psychological toll was immense. The destruction of the monastery became a symbol of how war consumes everything: faith, culture, history, and, of course, human life. And all of it happened because of fear, urgency, and imperfect information. Eventually, after months of fighting, the Allied forces broke through. The road to Rome opened. Strategically, Monte Cassino mattered, but the price paid was staggering. The monastery was rebuilt after the war, stone by stone, using original materials whenever possible. Today, it stands again, restored, but forever marked by what happened. The real footage remains, grainy, shaking, unfiltered. It doesn't let anyone forget. Monte Cassino forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth about World War II. Even justified causes can lead to irreversible loss. Even the right side can make catastrophic mistakes. Progress in war often comes wrapped in tragedy. This wasn't just the fall of a building. It was the destruction of memory, heritage, and centuries of human effort, all caught on film. And that's why this story belongs here, on 0 Hour World War II. Because history isn't just dates and victories, it's consequences. Monte Cassino stands as a warning carved in stone and ash. Technology doesn't make war cleaner. Power doesn't make decisions wiser. And once history is destroyed, it can never truly be replaced. If this story hit you, if the footage made you pause, then you're exactly why this channel exists. Subscribe to 0 Hour World War II. Share this video. Keep these stories alive. Because history only stays dead when no one remembers it.